All right. So what we got right now going on is upset. It's 13-0 with the Saints winning. We'll be with the Cowboys winning. This would be like the one of the biggest upsets all year. And this will probably push the Cowboys into the playoffs, which is interesting. This can also have some meaning on who could get the first seed in the NFC, which is big for any other team other than the Saints. Like if you was a team in the NFC, you should be desperately trying to get the number one seed and get it away from their Saints. The Saints are like almost unbeatable in their dome in the playoffs, especially. Like that's the ways they were able. That's the ways they've been able to just ride through to the Super Bowl. Is home field advantage in the dome. You can't stop them. You have no crowd. Your pass rush is down because they can do whatever they want in that dome. It's too loud. The atmosphere is too crazy. So if you're a team, you praying. If you're a team in the NFC playoff picture, especially the Rams, Bears, they still have a shot to get the first seed. Um, well, that's basically it. The Rams or the Bears. You should be praying that the Saints lose this game and possibly drop one or two other games. So yeah. And it's just interesting. Like I feel like the Saints, they have a great offense, but I feel like their offense can be neutralized in the playoffs because they don't have the receivers on the outside. They only have one receiver who you can double team and eventually take away. They don't have the tight ends. It's just the receiver and two backs, but it ain't like a complete team like it was last year. Last year, I feel like they were way more complete. Dante again, who could break deep, and you know he was going to get that one time where he ran free. So it's interesting, like, but that run game is still good, but it's not as dominant as it was last year, even with Mark Ingram back. Um, I expected them to be more dominant on the run, but I guess teams are kind of like loading up to stop them, and they're giving up the pass. And the Cowboys have a pretty evenly matched defense. They have a lot of different weapons and things that they can run at the Saints. Funny that me and our residential Cowboy fan friend were having this conversation, and he really wanted to think that Hugh Jackson was better than Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett is the absolute worst coach. Well, Hugh Jackson is the absolute worst coach ever to coach in an NFL team. I don't care what anybody say. He's a train wreck. As soon as he leaves, the team gets much better. And they just look, the confidence, the aura of the team is much more different. It's like they expected to do one thing. I feel like that was a problem with Hugh Jackson. He didn't expect anything from his players. Like he just said he talked a good game, but he didn't really like expect or give consequences when the expectations weren't met. I feel like that's a huge thing with coaching. It's not just schematics, but it's also how you not are able to motivate the team, but how you are able to discipline the team. How are you able to control what's going on in the locker room and how people come into shape. Like on the Patriots, players know that they don't have the opportunity to come in shape, come in camp out of shape, or they're gonna get ran into shape, or they're gonna get injured in camp because they're gonna spend that time on conditioning. I think a lot of these NFL teams think just because you're paid to be an athlete and you're paid to be someone that's you're paid to be in shape year round and be good, that they're going to just automatically come in and be in shape. But it's just not the case. It's just not the case. Like I feel like a prime example of this year was Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon hadn't played hadn't played football consistently in years, and he still the one thing that he could do was come in shape, and he still wasn't coming in shape. And as soon as he gets to New England, they are putting him through a conditioning. Like he has to recondition his body to like be able to play in a real offense, and that's a shame. Like that shouldn't be the case when it comes to an NFL player, but it is, and it's up to the head coach to want his team to be in conditioning to get that expectation. So yeah, it's interesting. And the Cowboys, they have like the most underrated secondary like I've seen in a while. Like their secondary is good. Awuzie and Byron Jones are really good. Jordan Lewis is pretty decent. Um, well, corners, not secondary, because the safeties I haven't like seen a lot from them. But Awuzie, Lewis, and Jones are really, really, really good quarterbacks, and that's probably part of the reason why they've been able to like play well against the Saints, because they can do a little bit more man than more teams. Like Byron Jones can pretty much man up on Mike Thomas and not have to worry about getting killed all game. Maybe Skip Bayless was right. Maybe this is like a bad. This is a bad matchup for the Saints. But no, it all depends on how the Cowboys offense is going to come out in the second half, though. If they are going to be able to like keep them off the field and be able to keep up with what they did in the first half, like they did an admirable job, 13 points, but they give it up zero. So they're going to need to probably put up about a good 20 more points, at least two more touchdowns and a field goal to keep the pedal to the metal and be able to outscore the Saints. And that's going to come with them getting Zeke the ball more, getting him running a little bit better. He got 40 yards in the first half. That's okay, but it's not enough. And the screen game, like they've been using with him, he's a really good pass catcher, like on short passes and being able to turn them into long runs. He has great speed. Has great vision, and he can break tackles. So it's just like you want to get him in that space and be able to like see if he can make a move. So yeah, I feel like teams do not get first downs when it's 31 and they just do a quarterback sneak. It's like automatic every time they're gonna get the quarterback sneak. Classic, classic quarterback sneak. Like it's gonna happen every time. Never fails. Yeah, I would like to see the if the Saints are gonna win, I want to see them open up the playbook a little bit. Like the Cowboys have a really good front seven now. So it's like it's going to be harder for you to just pound the ball on them. Also, I think Breeze has been slightly overrated this year. I think he hasn't really had to like throw receivers open and do all the little things that other quarterbacks have had to do where they create offense. I think his offense has just been created for him because his champagne has just been on fire this year. And the rules are pretty much against defenses being able to do it efficiently. Let's see what wow, it's a good play. Maybe this is what they need. Maybe they need to maybe they need to be able to whittle it down a little bit. I always like to see what creative things they can do with Taysom Hill. Like he has a lot of different skills, and he's not like the traditional slash type of player because he can actually. I feel like he can run up the tackles and do those different things as well. So it's not like your guys in the past where you know you either have a guy back there that's going to run, a guy back there that's going to run to the outside, or is it going to pass, or he can pass but he can't run up the middle. But like I feel like he's the classic like real dual threat. Like he could throw it, he could go underneath, he can go inside, he can go outside. Oh, Chris Richard. Seahawks fan. I don't really see the Cowboys running the same scheme though that the Seahawks ran. They do a lot more man to man than they do a lot more man to man than what the Seahawks did. The Seahawks did a lot of you stay on one side and you zone up, you cover three, you take away what's going on like on your side, and linebackers are able to like fill in the gaps of where the cover three is, and they're way more aggressive as well in their cover three. Seahawks they did a lot of pressing, so they will press at the line and jam and try to get you off and make sure you go inside. Oops, Saints came down at least got three in their first drive. That's good. I don't think I don't know. I think the Saints team is primed for upset in the playoffs though. I feel like they are primed. I feel like somebody like the Chicago Bears, weird as it sounds, could come into New Orleans and shock them because of the pass rush and the defense. Like I feel like they are one of the other teams that match up perfectly with them defensively. I don't think the Panthers this year have the defense to go in there and upset them with a playoff game. I like the Panthers offense a lot though. It's much better than it has been in years past. And I don't even think they've started to use all their weapons like they can. I feel like Samuels is a lot of untapped potential. Moore is really, really good. He needs to be shown off even more. And I don't think and I know Christian McCaffrey gets a lot of touches, but like I don't even see them do what they could possibly do with Christian McCaffrey as well. Like line him up at the receiver position. So I feel like they have a lot of improvement offensively, but I just don't see their defense being good enough to get them anywhere. Same with the Seahawks. I feel like both of those teams are like as their game this weekend showed, they are pretty much the same team. Like they have flawed defenses, great quarterbacks that can do a lot, and that open up different lanes for running backs and receivers. They actually have two more, one more for the Seahawks and one more for the Panthers that I both like. They just make timely plays. Seahawks might have a better traditional pass game, but I don't like their pass game. Their running back as much as I like the Panthers running back. And whatever slop come, I mean, I think that I don't think the. I hope it's the Panthers and the Seahawks that are the fifth and sixth seeds though, because I don't want to see any other. The Eagles are good this year. They suffer from way too many injuries. Quarterbacks is depleted. Offensive line isn't good enough. They finally found a running back, but I just don't. I don't see it with them. The Eagles. Uh, the Giants, I think they're out of contention now. Thank God. Nobody definitely wants to see Eli Manning in a playoff game again. He needs to just retire. And I can actually see the Jaguars trying him next year. Like he's that much of an improvement over Blake Bortles. And the Skins, sad look, but without their starting quarterback, Colt McCoy is definitely not the answer. We see that as a Browns fan that Colt McCoy isn't going to get you much. Colt McCoy is very limited. He just doesn't have the arm strength to be a good quarterback in the NFL. Like he's serviceable for like he could come in and finish a game out, or he could give you some spot starting, but he just isn't an NFL quarterback. Let's see who else. Well, it's always nice to see Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, but I feel like if the Packers get into the playoffs, they just don't. They're just too flawed and doesn't. They don't have enough at all on both either side of the ball. This is a one man show. Plus, I also think if they make the playoffs, I don't think they will fire Mike McCarthy. So anything to get, I want to see some new blood up there. I want to see somebody like Lincoln Riley go to the Packers and reinvigorate Aaron Rodgers because I think Aaron Rodgers isn't. I wouldn't say he's taking the season, but he isn't as motivated as years past. Like he knows the fate of this team, and it's just like he's not getting up for the games as well. Oh, I also want to talk about the big fight this weekend: Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury. I will be going to a movie theater to watch it instead of just like trying to pay for the pay-per-view since I have no friends down here. But I will be going to the movie theater to watch it with other people. Hopefully, it's a packed house. It's a huge undercard before it ends, so I'll probably be leaving out pretty late for it. Hopefully, unless I can like find somewhere to go watch it, watch the fights closer to like watch the Showtime card closer to the movie theater. But I'm not trying to deal with like any type of traffic or parking or anything of that nature. But there's two main fights that I really, really, really want to see, and that's Volstick versus Stevenson and Fury versus Wilder. Volstick versus Stevenson is the headliner of the free Showtime card, so you can watch that on the Showtime app, or I'm pretty sure you can watch that on their YouTube page or Twitter page, one of the two. Last year they did like a cool thing where they streamed Broner versus Granados on Twitter, and it was fun to like see people actually in the tweeting like as the fight was going on. It was like a full live chat, like a YouTube stream. So that was cool. And I would hope that they would bring that back for this undercard. But Volstick and Stevenson is your classic. Volstick Stevenson is your classic. You got the wise old puncher versus the young aggressive pressure fighter, and I'm really interested to see like how this style matchup is. Volstick has been down once in his career. He's punished fighters though. He's a good pressure fighter. He fights out of the Lomachenko camp, but he doesn't pretty much fight like Lomachenko or Usyk. He has his own style. Like, yeah, he has his own style, which is nice. And Stevenson, is a he's a very, very, very good counter puncher. He has a beautiful straight left hand. Like his straight left hand his straight left hand has put people to sleep. And if he catches you on the right time, he can put you out. So it's a great matchup. And it's for the lineal light heavyweight championship, which is cool as well. I wish we could have got RJ Ward versus Stevenson, but for some reason, it's the one fighter that RJ Ward seems to not care for to fight. But yeah, it's interesting. I actually picked Bostic to finally end the reign of Stevenson. Stevenson has been WBC champ since 2013, I believe. So he is definitely one of the longest running champs in the sport. And it's time to see some new blood. He's 42 years old, still a good fighter. He in his last fight against Badu Jack, he really hurt Badu Jack twice in that fight, and he almost stopped him with a body shot, and it ended a draw. But many people think that Stevenson could have got that decision. It was a great fight, though. And then with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, I actually got money on Tyson Fury, but I also don't think. I think the only way he can win is for him to buff it up. Like he has to get in there and make it ugly and fight his own fight. Like he has to fight with his herky jerky style and create confusion for Deontay Wilder and hope that he doesn't like try to come in fast and knock him out. Like he has to do what he did to Klitschko. Klitschko threw about 100 punches in a 12-round fight because he was so confused at what Tyson Fury was doing. Tyson Fury throws a lot of feints, great hand movement, great feet. He looks like he's in better shape for this fight than he was for the Klitschko fight, which is extremely strange because he was over 400 pounds a year ago to this date, a coke addict, and he was addicted to and he was going through real bad mental health. So to see him come back and actually make it to this day is very strange, but it's good. Like we needed this type of fight for heavyweights before Anthony Joshua and the winner because it'll make that fight a big fight as well. especially if Deontay Wilder wins. If Deontay Wilder wins, I think boxing will become more mainstream again, like it was. The problem with the last era was the Klitschko's were boring. They didn't have the style to that fans wanted to see, and a lot of their biggest fights were in Russia's and Germany's. It was overseas, so it didn't like correlate with our schedules. But now, if Deontay Wilder can win this Saturday, then that will give us a heavyweight champion, a real heavyweight champion in our country that everybody can rally behind, and that showed that he can bring out a lot of fans to his fights. But I did pick Tyson Fury by unanimous decision. But I also can see the more likely thing to happen is Deontay Wilder to get a late KO. If I was betting this, which I'm not, I would bet rounds 9, 10, 11, and 12 for a KO for Wilder, and then put to hedge that, I will put unanimous decision for Fury. Because I feel like if the fight does go 12 rounds, Tyson Fury is going to win the majority of the rounds because he's going to frustrate Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is an extremely slow starter. Like in the last, other than the Stavern fight, which I don't count because Stavern was fat and out of shape, and he took the fight so he could make a paycheck, and he hasn't been relevant ever since. He started slowing all his fights. He lost in his last fight versus Ortiz. He lost 7 out of the first 8 rounds to me, and he almost got stopped in the 7th round. So, and then against Joe Washington, he lost the first 4 rounds before getting a knockout. So Deontay Wilder has been known to start slow. He was down on the cards against Arthur Spilka, even though he sent Spilka almost to hell and almost killed Spilka. Spilka woke up in the hospital talking about Wilder don't hit that hard. And so he has been down before in fights and then came out and got a knockout. So that's the more likely thing to happen. But I can also see Tyson Fury just neutralizing him, going to southpaw and making it confusing how Luis Ortiz did. Also, I think people underrate how hard Tyson Fury hits. It's a reason why these fighters aren't going in wild at Tyson Fury when he's doing his herky jerky style, because he can actually he's really accurate, and he times his punches really well. So he's able to knock people off balance, and he's able to keep people at bay from just rushing straight in. So yeah, and then so yeah, hopefully that's all of those fights on that card is entertaining, but I doubt it. Joe Joyce is fighting Scrub. He was a 2012 Olympian, Joe Joyce, and they're trying to fast track him because he was a 2012 Olympian, but he's also already 32 years old. So they're trying to fast track his career. He only had like 6 fights so far, and they want him to get in with some of the big names in heavyweight by the end of next year. Luis Ortiz, as I just stated, was beating Wilder, and he's fighting on the undercard, but he's fighting nobody as well. And then Jared Hurd is fighting on the undercard. He's fighting nobody, but he's coming back from a shoulder injury. And this is his tune-up fight for allegedly him and Jamel Charlo will be fighting next. And that's a huge fight in 154. Both of those guys are over 6'1". They both very big for the division. Charlo is a very big puncher, one of the only people to knock down Austin Trout twice in a fight. Real strong puncher. And Jared Hurd has some crazy pressure. He actually knocked out Austin Trout because of the pressure that he put on him, and he had a Fight of the Year candidate this year with Arizlandi Lara, in which he dropped Arizlandi Lara in the 12th round to get a decision because of the pressure that he puts on. he's another fighter that may be losing in the first couple fights, but then will wrap that up and begin to overwhelm his opponents after the sixth round. So yeah, it's just interesting. Just interesting weekend for sports as well. Right now, I'm about to end this chat a little bit soon. As I watch this Friday night, this Thursday night football, and we have a good game going on in Toronto with Golden State and Toronto playing, and it's 108-104. So that should be interesting. And the nightcap on TNT is the Clippers and Kings, two of my favorite teams to watch right now currently. I really like a lot of the players that the Kings have, and the Clippers have the player I thought the Cavs was going to draft. My second favorite rookie right now is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. So I really can't wait to watch those games as well. So I'm gonna sign out early. Everybody have a great weekend, and I should be back on either Saturday or Sunday for a little bit. I may do live at the movie theater before I go in and watch the fights, the big fights, and I'll probably do like some type of recap of the Showtime card on my way.